For 2,000 years, millions have read Revelation as a terrifying prophecy of the future, scanning the horizon for a coming apocalypse. But the historical record tells a completely different story. That apocalyptic collapse already happened. Ancient texts profile a highly specific ruler known as the Beast. This was a dictator who subjected early Christians to brutal, systematic executions. He erected statues of himself and demanded total worship as a living god from his subjects. His control extended into daily survival. He engineered an absolute economic monopoly by stamping a literal mark on the state currency. Without this specific coin, an ordinary citizen was legally barred from buying food or selling goods. Modern society has spent 20 centuries searching the future for the Antichrist. In doing so, we have entirely missed that the Book of Revelation is a classified criminal profile detailing a real historical dictator. To identify him, we have to look at the infamous number of the beast, 666. This number holds no magical power. It is an ancient cryptographic cipher designed to safely transmit a name under the nose of a hostile government. The cipher relies on a practice called Gematria. Gematria is a historical system where every letter in the Hebrew alphabet is assigned a corresponding numerical value. This diagram illustrates exactly how the cipher works. If you take the Hebrew letters for the name Neron Caesar, spelled Nun, Resh, Vav, Nun, Kaf, Semek, Resh, and add their assigned values together, the total sums to exactly 666. The beast was Emperor Nero. He was the Antichrist in the flesh. The central mystery of Revelation is a closed case. Emperor Nero died by suicide in 68 AD. However, according to a philosophical framework called abstract exploration, physical death is merely an interruption of a pattern, not the absolute end of an entity. Within this framework, a spirit is defined not as a ghostly vapor, but as a rigid, definable collection of enduring attributes, traits, and behavioral patterns that make an entity exactly what it is. This leads to the recurrent self hypothesis. This hypothesis states personal identity is not defined by memory or a continuous stream of consciousness, but rather by the exact recurrence of a specific structural pattern. If a human self is simply a structured pattern, and we know that patterns frequently repeat in a vast universe, then the ultimate villain of human history is a scientifically plausible, recurring threat. We can actually observe this mechanism of recurring patterns in empirical biology. Complex, extinct physical forms routinely reemerge in reality. Look at the extinct thylacine. Naturalists identified this marsupial as a canine due to its uncanny wolf-like appearance. This is convergent evolution, a biological law proving that if an ecological niche demands a specific form, different genetic lineages produce identical creatures. The environmental shape precedes the physical organism. Genetics are simply the paint. The environmental demand, the specific niche or matrix, is the canvas. If biological ecosystems possess the mechanics to resurrect extinct animal forms, then human sociological systems possess the exact same power to resurrect extinct psychological tyrants. In human terms, we call this generative environment a matrix. A matrix is a structured societal womb, a specific medium of development that nurtures and gives birth to a specific pattern of attributes. Ancient Rome was the highly specific matrix that birthed Nero. Its ruthless, centralized economy, its culture of imperial worship, and its systemic power structure created the exact pressures necessary to form his specific psychological pattern. These powerful post-civilizational spirits do not exist independently. They depend entirely on the cultural and cognitive matrices of human society, the attention, the systems, and the behaviors of the masses to survive and manifest. To bring any entity back into existence, you do not need magic. You simply have to construct the specific matrix that allows for its birth. We must examine the current matrices we are building globally today. We are accelerating toward highly centralized digital economies, tech-driven cultural structures, and a demand for total systemic obedience. If modern society reconstructs the precise systemic pressures, economic controls, and cultural environment of first-century Rome, we will trigger the sociological equivalent of convergent evolution. The apocalyptic beast of Revelation already came once, But if we have successfully rebuilt his matrix, we must confront the reality that he has already returned.